Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. We are in an unprecedented era where technology has vastly outpaced the ability of the public to recognize deep fakes, and even more so, lapped lawmakers, many of whom frankly seem unable to manage their email. Take, for example, what you're watching right now. I'm actually not Jake. I'm a deep fake Jake, a deep Jake, if you will, created by comedian Danny Polishuk, who has only been using AI for 2 weeks. The fact that I seem so real suggests that real mischief and serious damage could be done with this technology were it to be so utilized in the U.S. as it has been for bad purposes abroad.
Okay, real life Jake here now. AI-generated images, audio, and video such as that have slowly been creeping into American political campaigns. In Indiana, Senator Mike Braun, a Republican running for governor, was running this TV ad against his Democratic opponent, Jennifer McCormick, featuring this image of her standing at a rally against gas stoves. The image looks perfectly real, but it is fake. It's been digitally altered. McCormick called for it to be taken down, saying it, quote, violates the principles of transparency and integrity voters deserve in campaign advertising by changing the text on the signs in voters' hands, unquote. The Braun campaign originally said that their ads were compliant with the new Indiana law that prohibits the use of digitally altered media in campaign messages unless there's a disclosure. They have since replaced that image altogether. But seriously, welcome to the Wild West of TV ads, where technology allows falsehoods to be depicted as fact, blazing unethical trails around the world. FBI Director Christopher Wray has warned about foreign actors using this technology against America.
This election cycle, the U.S. will face more adversaries moving at a faster pace and enabled by new technology. Advances in generative AI, for instance, are lowering the barrier to entry, making it easier for both more and less sophisticated foreign adversaries to engage in malign influence.
But forget foreign adversaries for a second, because Americans are already doing it to Americans. A year ago, the Republican National Committee ran this ad depicting San Francisco getting shut down and other dystopian, completely fake images of this future where Biden is reelected. CNN's Donie O'Sullivan showed this to voters, and they could not tell it was fake.
So all the images in that ad were actually created using AI, artificial intelligence.
Wow.
And since then, the technology has only gotten better. Voters in New Hampshire earlier this year got a robocall in January from someone working for Democratic challenger Congressman Dean Phillips. The AI-generated voice sounded like President Biden telling New Hampshire voters, don't vote in the primary.
We know the value of voting Democratic when our votes count. It's important that you save your vote for the November election. We'll need your help in electing Democrats up and down the ticket. Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans in their quest to elect Donald Trump again.
Now, Phillips distanced himself from the consultant who made that call and condemned it. Ron DeSantis' campaign, the Florida governor running against Donald Trump in the Republican presidential primary, used fake images of Trump embracing Dr. Anthony Fauci, and the DeSantis Never Back Down PAC used an AI-generated Trump voice to read one of his actual tweets.
I opened up the governor position for Kim Reynolds, and when she fell behind, I endorsed her.
But now supporters of Trump are in on it, spreading fake images of Trump among black voters. A Trump campaign manager also shared this video last year with fake audio from a very real NBC reporter.
Nobody cares about these bull rhino debates, especially when you know that Donald Trump is going to kick some ass tonight.
Abroad, AI deepfakes have hit Bangladesh, where a fake image of a lawmaker in the conservative Muslim-majority country showed her in a bathing suit, not actually her. Video in Moldova of the pro-Western president supporting a pro-Kremlin party, and so much more. The federal government here in the United States has no law against this. Some states are trying to keep up. Indiana has that law requiring disclosure for ads that use AI images. But even the Braun campaign ad that complied with the law has a disclosure that's frankly tough to read. And frankly, it's a pretty weak effort. The fake image is much stronger, much more memorable. That RNC ad from last year also had a disclaimer, but some people still couldn't even see it. They couldn't tell the difference.
Oh, I'm blind.
Oh, yeah, you can't see it. I don't think I would have known that was made with AI if you hadn't said anything.
Trump himself even circulated fake AI images of Taylor Swift supporters proclaiming their support for Trump. His sharing of those fake images was in fact cited by Taylor Swift when she announced her decision to endorse Kamala Harris. But beyond that, beyond Swift endorsing Harris, there's really been little accountability for anyone campaigning whose lies now include fake images that look all too real. Now, I first heard of the comedian who made the AI of me at the top of the segment when he made some deepfakes of me that I wasn't particularly a fan of. But it sure looked and it sure sounded like me. So to help illustrate the potential problem here, I asked him to make that AI that we showed you at the top of this. I want to bring in Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, who is very concerned about the ability of people using AI to fool voters, and she and others have introduced the, quote, Protect Elections from Deceptive AI Act to try to address those concerns. So, Senator, what can be done? What does your legislation prescribe to stop voters from being fooled by what look like actual images of politicians doing things that they never did?
So, Jake, digitally altered and AI ads have the potential to completely upend our elections. You got a flavor of it in New Hampshire when you had the fake voice of pretend Joe Biden telling people not to vote. That was criminally investigated because it involved voting. And now you're starting to see little by little by little ads in states and other races, which I predicted, which is using AI in a deceptive fashion or using digital alteration. And that means it's not really the person you think, or they're at an event with signs, and it's not really the signs that were held up at the event to mislead voters into thinking they're bad. It's that simple. So what our bill would do, and I have two bills, one would require labeling, and 18 states have now done that, which is important, including red states like Utah and Mississippi and Indiana. And then there's also the bill to ban deepfakes. And that is a bill I have with Jake, Josh Hawley, as well as Susan Collins and a number of other people, that says if it's a serious deepfake, and I think some of these ads and videos that actually show people in fake surroundings that are not satire, they actually would qualify as being banned. And that would make it simpler, because then you're going to stop that kind of behavior. A number of platforms, including OpenAI, have actually endorsed and support our bill because it gives them something to point to and say, we're not putting this stuff up.
Yeah, so, it's, I mean, the clock's ticking, right? I mean, more than, just about a month until the election. Why not? I mean, is there a holdup in the Senate? Is there appetite in the House for it? What's the holdup in the Senate?
I know you're going to be really surprised by this, but it's Mitch McConnell. The bill, actually, the two bills, the one with Senator Murkowski, the other one with Senator Hawley, made it through the Rules Committee and are now waiting on the floor. I asked for what we call unanimous consent. That was objected to by the Republicans. So the Democrats are fine with this. I have a few Republicans, and there is a companion bill in the House that's bipartisan. And we just can't sit there. We have a number of states that have no laws in place at all. There's no laws on a federal basis that govern the presidential campaigns, the Senate, or the congressional campaigns. Other countries are like, wait a minute, we're not allowing these fake things that lie to voters, so you have no idea who's on that ad. But not us. Right now, we're sitting there allowing these things to go forward. And at the very least, there should be labels throughout the ad or video so people know that they're digitally altered.
Well, what is obviously Josh Hawley, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski accepted, and anyone else who's on board with your bill accepted. What is the Republican opposition to this bill? Is it a First Amendment issue? What's their problem? I mean, I can't imagine that as Senator McConnell would think it's cool for deep fake ads to depict him doing things that he never did.
You got that right. It is. They're making a claim on First Amendment political speech. But these ads are frauds. They show people doing things they're not doing. And if we don't have some rules in place, pretty soon they're going to dominate the internet. We have been really reasonable about this in that we've said we talked to Democratic lawyers, Republican lawyers. We made sure they followed existing law and the Constitution so that you allow parody, all kinds of things. But in this case, why do I think they're really stopping it? Because I think they're going to mess around the last month of the election, and you're already starting to see it happen with completely fake videos and ads. And it's now we are going to be at the mercy of the platforms about whether they're going to put labels on or take them down, and at the mercy of TV stations and some state laws, thankfully, that are in place in 18 states.